welcome back to my channel. This is my first video ever in CHOP Theory Salon, and I have my favorite client, Allie, here today. She comes to see me about twice a year, and we do a balayage. It's really bright, really ashy, really icy. So today we're just gonna do a touch-up balayage, and I kind of wanted to film that process with you guys because I've done a full balayage on my channel, but now we're really just touching up the roots and kind of refreshing everything. So if you guys are interested on seeing how I accomplish that, then let's just go ahead and get started in today's video. All right, you guys, so this is the before that we're working with. As you guys can see, she likes her money piece really nice and bright, so we're definitely gonna touch that up, but she has some new growth. Her new growth is pretty dark naturally, but we are able to get her pretty light with nice patience and some really fine sectioning, which I'll show you guys. But this is right here, her ends are still really, really bright. They just kind of need a refresh toner. And then we're obviously gonna do a trim as well since it's been about 6 months since she's come to me, but so far 6-month growth is looking really, really good. So just gonna refresh everything. So I'm going to go ahead and begin by mixing up my lightener. You guys know that Schwarzkopf is my favorite brand to use for lightener. This is the Igor Varia Blonde Plus. I love using all of their lighteners, but this one specifically is my favorite. I probably have like 20 or 30 containers for backup inside of my stash. So I'm going to mix up 60 grams of that with 10 volumes starting off. We'll work our way up as we go up the head, but since I am taking my time with this and I'm using really thin sectioning, I am using 10 volume and then mixing in my OLAPLEX as well. I also wanted to give a quick mention about these foils. These are from the brand Style Tech, which I will link down below if you are interested. If you're a stylist, you can order them online and they'll get shipped directly to you. And I love them so much. These are the ones that I cut in half for every single client and then I just tear them. Or they have pre-cut ones as well, and they're coming out with a bunch of different colors. They are just like the expensive brands that you see at Cosmoprof and Salon Centric, but they are half the price, you guys. And if you use 100 foils on every single client like I do, then you know you run through foils very, very quickly, which can become very costly as well. So just wanted to mention those if you're looking to save money but also have really good quality foils. So definitely check them out down below. So I'm starting with the headband section like I always do in my other hair tutorials if you guys are familiar with those, and I like to clip those two front sections out of the way while I'm working on the back, and you guys see that I'm going right along her hairline right there, and I'm actually going to weave it just so it's really nice and blended and it's not too harsh because it's not a full foil, but we definitely want to make her bright around her hairline. So I like to weave that little section and just kind of feather up to the root. I'm not going to go right onto the root, but I like to just kind of feather it in there just for the best blend possible, but maximum amount of brightness as well. All right, taking another fine section that's diagonal and weaving through that one as well, doing the exact same thing and feathering my way up. And once I'm done with that second foil, I'm going to go around her neck. So right down there next to it, you guys will see I'm doing a horizontal section. And the reason I'm doing a horizontal foil right there is because of her hairline. So this is completely customizable with each client, and you guys will determine that when you see the client's hairline. So some clients' hairlines come to a point, so you just do like 2 diagonals to meet into each other, but hers specifically has that flat little section down there near her neck. So I want to make sure that I'm getting her hairline really nice and close, and that's why I like to feather in and do really small baby sections and baby foils. You guys will see this all throughout her entire head because she is naturally a level 5 and she's extremely difficult to lift. But like I said in the beginning, with a lot of patience and small little fine sections, you can definitely get her super, super bright. So again, just weaving small little sections and feathering my way up to the root. So now you guys can see moving over to the right side of her head, again going along with the diagonal of her hairline, taking a small little weave and feathering my way up just like I did on the left side. So you guys will actually see this pattern a lot throughout the back of her head. I like to kind of bounce back and forth and ping pong. So I'll do some on the left side, some on the right side, and then bring it up the middle just to kind of make the section in the middle a little bit skinnier as I make my way up there. So now that I've finished doing her hairline, you guys will see that majority of the remainder foils I do tease before I actually put in the lightener. And the reason I do that is of course for maximum blend, but also I know that her hair doesn't cooperate well with any type of root smudge or shadow root. She doesn't like anything touching her root at the shampoo bowl besides toner, just because I've seen her root kind of lift a little bit too warm if we try and even put like an ash root color to smudge it. So all the blending has to actually be done inside of the foil. So this technique right here will actually make your life a little bit easier. Yes, it takes some time while you're putting the foils in rather than just like slapping them in there and then doing majority of the blending at the shampoo bowl. You're actually not going to have to do as much work at the shampoo bowl because it's already blended for you. So that is why I'm blending right here and just taking so much time to really feather inside of the foil, where I feel like most stylists try and just put the foils in as quickly as possible. My blend is done and I know I can just put her toner on and she's blended. You guys will see the end result too, how seamless it is without having to put any type of root smudge on there. So I actually blocked the camera when I was trying to put that first foil in, and I apologize for that, but I'm doing the exact same thing on this second foil. So I'm taking a small little weave, and I'm actually going to take the lightener all the way up to her root like I would with a normal highlight, because she really likes having that bright money piece and as much brightness around her hairline as possible right there in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and take that lightener all the way up to her root on the first two foils, and then on the third foil you guys will see that I actually don't take it all the way up, but it's pretty close to the root. I just like to feather it in when I get to that third foil just so it seamlessly starts to kind of fade its way out to the root. So once I'm done with those three foils, making it really nice and bright around the hairline, I like to go and switch back to horizontal sections, working my way up that section. So again, taking a small little weave, back combing it, and just feathering my way up, repeating the exact same thing up that same section and repeating on the right side of her head. So now that we're done with the side sections, we're going to move our way to the most important part of the head, which is the front and the top. As you guys will notice, she does have a widow's peak, so I am having to do diagonal little foils, and I'm taking small little baby weaves, but again, making my lightener all the way up to the root, so that way she has the most amount of brightness. Now, because this is the most important part of the head, I always say to pay the most attention to it, just because if you guys are just doing a general sectioning, whether it's horizontal front to back or vertical front to back or left to right, I really just encourage people to take their time because this is the most important part. It's what everybody sees. It's what your client notices first, and paying that close attention to the detail will really make a huge difference, and your client will thank you for it. So that is why I'm doing the first couple of foils diagonal on the left side and on the right side. And then you guys will see that I'm making my way back horizontally once I'm done with these little diagonal sections. And if you guys did notice, between the first two foils, I did leave out minimal amounts of hair, little to no hair, and then as I work my way back, I do add a little bit more hair in between each foil just to add a little bit more dimension. Now that I've brought some of the foils forward, you guys will start to notice that I do bring the lightener sometimes all the way up to the root on these foils. Sometimes it goes an inch away. On the other ones, I do like to tease as well. I just like to kind of alternate all of my techniques in this section right here, just because it really is the best technique for blending, so that way there's not one solid line between the root and the blonde and where it starts and where it ends, and you really can't tell the technique that you used on every single foil since it's all just kind of blended together and there's like different amounts of dimension between each one, so it really just gives the best amount of blend so you're not having to put any type of shadow root or root smudge at the shampoo bowl. I'm using one of my favorite formulas for Icy Blonde, which is the Redken SEQ 9P and 9V. For her specifically, I'm putting about 2 grams in 9V and 1 gram of 9P. Now, the reason I'm adding a little bit more V is because her hair does turn a little bit more yellow, and it pulls a little bit more yellow since she has a natural level 5. So we're going to kick it out of there with the 9V. You guys are going to see just how well it kicks it out. Now for shampoo to pre-tone, I do this on every single blonde. I love using the Fanola No Yellow. It is my absolute favorite purple shampoo for all of my blondes. If you guys love an icy blonde, then you need this in your life. And then I'm using their nutricare line, their restructuring conditioner, so that way I can add some of that moisture and that health back in her hair since it is bleached and blonde. You guys can see just how purple and pigmented that purple shampoo is from Fanola. It does an amazing job pre-toning, so you're not having to kick as much brass out when you're using a toner. So I wanted to show you guys real quick before I style her hair that this is the finished result whenever it's straight and sleek. As you guys can see, it has the perfect amount of dimension up at her root and just fades to that perfect icy blonde right there on her end. So I absolutely love the way that this technique turns out every single time. It just blends really, really nicely with her root color. And I mean, with how dark her root color is and how blonde we're able to get her, for it to be able to blend that well without having any type of root color on there, root smudge, anything like that, this is just a toner and that Fanola No Yellow. And you guys can see just how amazing that blends. So I wanted to show you what it looks like straight. And now I'm using my Balayage 1 1/4 inch curling iron. It's my favorite one to do loose beachy waves that you guys can see on my Instagram all the time or on myself. So this is the result using today's balayage touch-up technique. I hope you learned a little something new, and I hope you did enjoy today's video. Thank you so much for all of your guys' support, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye guys!